Flat abs and strong back hack. Welcome everybody, it's Jason Barlow, RMT. I'm here today as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any type of stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. So I'm wearing a hoodie, my toque today, because I'm a little bit colder downstairs in my basement. We are probably sitting at -13 when I saw this morning. Maybe it's a little bit milder than that this morning now, a couple of hours later. But nevertheless, it's a little bit cooler where I generally work most of my days. This is my office side. I have my clinic side over here through some doors, which we have some nice heated space in there and nice heated table for those patients coming in for the day and their treatment. But it's several degrees cooler when you come into this side of the room. Anyway, that's why I'm dressed the way I'm dressed. If you're listening to me on the podcast, ignore everything I just said because it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So today, what am I getting into? I'm sharing with you one of the most fundamental exercises I was taught years ago. So the title of this today is Flat Abs and Strong Back Hack. And I'm probably going to dissect this into a few parts. So today, I just really want you to understand this absolutely fundamental. Well, let's start with just the muscle. We'll get into the exercise maybe next week. I remember probably coming on 20 years ago, here I was, fairly high-performing athlete at the time, and playing basketball National League, and I had come through my degree program. I was getting into the fitness industry, and I thought I knew a lot about my body. Now, obviously, I've been humbled ever since then because there's still so many things I'm continuing to discover, as I'm sure you are too on a daily basis, about your body, about how this thing functions, about the mind. I mean, it's just incredibly fascinating. But I remember this one teacher taking some time and sharing with me how I didn't know much about my abs as much as I thought I did. And she was a Pilates teacher. And Denise, if you remember, this is something you took some time, and not too much time because it blew my mind as soon as you gave me that elasticated band, right? Think of the kind of 6-8 inch wide elasticated band. And she pulled it around my abdomen, essentially duplicating my abdominal muscles that wrap around my torso. And she pulled it fairly snug. And then we were in a space where there was mirrors. So she was stood behind me, pulling that nice and snug. She could see the front through the mirror. I could obviously see front side with the mirrors. And then she just asked me to take a breath. So I took a breath. And what do we typically do as adults? When we breathe, we usually breathe through the chest and shoulders. So here's your first challenge. Just as you're listening or watching this right now, take a breath. Take 5, take 10. And just monitor what happens, mechanically speaking, to your body. Pay attention specifically to the shoulders, to the neck, to the chest, to the abdomen, as you take that breath in. And then breathe out and see what happens. And what happened for me is this. When I took a deep breath in, the band did not move. And I obviously didn't know this at the time, but I thought, yeah, it's good. That band didn't move. That's the whole purpose. I've conquered the exercise. I've passed the test. No, you failed, and you failed big time, Jay. Why? So I saw what happened in the mirror, right? It was distinct. My shoulders elevated, my chest fully expanded, and I thought I was doing the right thing. Now, in some research, they'll call this potentially paradoxical breathing. The word paradoxical basically is referring to the fact that it's the opposing way to breathe. Naturally, if you look at any young baby, child, when they take a breath, and if you've got any children of that age around you, take some time and observe how they breathe. What they will do is they will have very little to no movement in their chest, thorax, shoulders, neck when they take a deep breath in. You'll almost exclusively see the abdominal region expand fully like a balloon and then start to deflate somewhat as they breathe out. And I remember my kids, when they were younger at that age, particularly, and they'd had a full meal and their stomach's full, and then they take a breath, it's even more pronounced, more exaggerated. So study that, observe that in children around you if they're in your life, or at the very least, observe it in yourself. And what your goal is this week is just pay very strict attention to that mechanic of breathing, and then do your best. The exercise that's going to be coming with this series is going to teach you exactly how to take better control of that. But the first and foremost thing, and I talk about this in my book, The 15-Step Playbook for Pain Relief, is just being aware. We're all busy. We're all tending to procrastinate over things that, well, I just don't have the time. Well, there's no excuse here. You do have the time. It's just a matter of now paying attention. That's all you have to do. Pull your awareness. You've got lots of that. It's just a matter of choosing where your awareness, where your attention is being pulled. For those of you listening in on podcast, I just held my hand up as if I had my phone. We're so distracted by technology. We're so distracted by the things of everyday life. And our mind gets very filled very quickly. It becomes very challenging to pay attention to the things that actually are the most important things to pay attention to. When it comes to your health, your happiness, and vitality, there are two things you've got to be very, very conscientious of. One, your physical posture. Go read my book and I'll expand on that in my book for you. You can still get it for free on my website, and I'll put that up in a second. And the other element is being mentally aware, being mindful, aware of what's coming up in your mind, aware of what's going on with your physical body. Because then there's no excuses as far as, well, I got to go to this class to learn how to do this, and it takes so much time, and I have to drive, and I have to. No. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to travel inside your mind, and that's instant. If I say to you, the moon, in an instant, you create this image in your mind of the moon. And if you didn't, you just did, because I just said it again. And that happens. Mother, right? You'll think of your mother. Father, think of your father, and so on and so forth. So all you have to do is just, use that form of that approach, physical posture, say that in your mind, right? Boom, you start to pay attention. You have the ability to control where your mind's attention goes. And I'm sorry, from my number of years of experience meditating, I know what distractions feel like. And I still know I'm not saying I'm here perfect. I still know what distraction feels like, but I can identify it a whole lot quicker. And I'm starting to get better and better, bringing my mind back to where I want it to sit and place and hold and stay and remain. Because by doing that, it keeps me more in line, both mentally and physically. So please don't come up with any excuses. I believe I've said them all. It's just a matter of you having a wish. It starts with that, having a wish, because ultimately we will only ever do what it is that we wish to do. I'm experiencing that with my boys right now. They're at a stage of life, grade 12, grade 10, grade 8. So they follow the grade 8s, the 10s, they're following, they're looking up to the grade 12. The grade 12 says that he wants certain things, but ultimately it's what we do that determines what we say, is essentially, right? You say a lot by way of your actions and your representation and your example that you're setting in the world. So, and I know I've fallen into this trap too, where I talk and I say. I feel as though I'm now more gathering inside myself and going, I'm not going to keep saying, I'm just going to keep doing. I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to be an example, as best an example that I can be. And I remember listening to a quote, it's probably a couple, 3 months ago or so, something along the lines of, children have always failed to listen to their elders, but they've never failed to imitate them. And I love that, because now the power that comes from my example for my kids, your example for your kids, your husband, your partner, your work colleagues. There's a lot to be said about gathering all that force and energy that comes from, I want to use the words whining and complaining and excuses, and just gathering that all, drawing it inside and channeling it into, okay, what can I specifically control? Jason's just taught me 2 things today. Have I remembered them? No, I've forgotten them already. We'll go back and listen to this again. The 2 things that you're able to control specifically today that I'm talking about are your physical posture. Anytime you want, you just be aware of it. And your mental posture. Again, you pay attention. What's coming in my mind right now? Right? My mind this morning was so distracted. I probably a better term would be neutral. Like it was a neutral mind. Like it wasn't this happy, joyful experience. It was just this neutral, mundane state of mind. It was like the cloudy day. It wasn't stormy. It wasn't bright and sunny. It was just this cloudy day in my mind. And now, as I've started to present and talk for the last 10 minutes, I feel like, oh, wow, you have cracked through the clouds, because all I was doing there was wrapped up in myself. And as I've given to others by doing this video, now I feel as though I've cracked through and there's an opening. Now, my goal, obviously, is to maintain that opening and stay above the clouds and experience that radiance of sunshine, of happiness that comes from benefiting others, helping others. And I get to do that again in another hour as I have patients coming in for the rest of my day. All right, time for me to zip it. So what do I want you to take away from today? Concentrate on your breath for two reasons. One, posture, and two, your mind control. Your breath has a direct connection with the mind. The breath is a form of a wind in your body, and your inner winds that are circling through your body are very much influencing the minds that then come up. So as you gather your winds through your controlling your breath, you learn to breathe properly through the abdominal muscles, core muscles, get a stronger back and flatter abdominals, and we'll come into more of that next week. But also you're gathering your minds and you're allowing yourself to concentrate just a little bit better. And that little bit better is a taste. It's an experience of what more can come of. It's a little window into your potential, your mind's potential. If that intrigues you, this weekend, join me. I'm teaching at the Buddhist Center in Calgary. Doesn't matter where you are listening to this. If you're in the UK, you just got to consider that you're 7 hours ahead of us. But I will be teaching at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. If you go to this website, meditateincalgary.org, and look for this coming Saturday, November 20th class. It's called Breaking Bad Habits. It's a great opportunity where I will dive in and give a Buddhist point of view of how to control the mind and then how that relates to the physical body, especially from that point of view I was just sharing there about gathering the inner winds. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found that of benefit. Do remember my website, jasonbarlow.rmt.com. If you have not been in for a massage for a while, it's time to come in. Go book yourself a massage on there. If you're too far away from me to come and massage you to come to me to be massaged, there's a ton of resources on there, from my blogs to my YouTube videos to my social media platforms and my email. Please reach out, connect with me. And if you've enjoyed these videos, please make sure you're sharing them with your friends and family. Link them or whatever you need to do. Send it on Twitter, send it on Facebook, through YouTube. Please, your support is warmly welcome. And also do go a step further and share a review. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Have a great rest of your day.